In this video, we are going to do a broad overview of flowchart mode inside of Whimsical. Here's a high-level summary of what we're going to cover. We're going to look at all the shapes that are available inside of Whimsical. We're going to look at how to use connectors, some advanced features, and then we'll wrap up with some examples of how flowcharts can be used. You'll notice that we are in a flowchart board right here. That's what this little symbol with the F means. And we are also in flowchart mode. So if you've seen the overview video that came before this, you'd know that you can switch between modes and do all sorts of activities on the same board. But for now, we're just going to stay inside of flowchart mode. Let's first start talking about shapes inside of flowcharts. There are a variety of shapes available, and that is the top option here in the toolbar underneath the purple box. And so in order to get shapes, you click on there, or you can hit S, and each of these shapes has a keyboard shortcut. So you'll notice if you just kind of go down them, the only one that doesn't is the flipped parallelogram because it's actually just mirrors the one above it. So the nice thing here is if you get familiar with the shapes that you use frequently, you can just hit S and you can see all of them, or you can go directly to that shape if you say, well, I'm just going to take the rounded rectangle. And so you can go directly to that. If you want to get a look at all the different shapes, I've got them here for you to see. All these shapes are vector. They can be resized as large as you would like, and they're still going to have crisp, sharp edges. There's some options available for these. So if you select one, you're going to get our contextual toolbar, which basically lets you change the text inside. You can switch between any of the other shapes that are available. You can also change the color. We go ahead and do that. The style. So we have three styles: solid, outline, and dash. And you can also drop the fill. So this actually has no fill. You can see right there. The other thing that's available from the contextual toolbar is rotate, quick adds, and then some of the universal options over here, such as duplicate and comment. Some of the unique shapes are the brackets and also the tables. So they'll behave a little bit differently, but roughly the same. So the bracket can be rotated in all four directions. It can be resized, and then you can also resize the text area that's going to go over here. And then table over here, it can be styled however you would like. So lots of options there. And then it comes in three sizes. So small, medium, and large. And it's great for doing things like ERD diagrams. So now going back to our outline, we have talked about shapes. We're going to cover connectors now. I've created some connector lines down here to demonstrate the styles that are available. So right from the get-go, you'll notice that there's three different main styles. You have outline, dash, and fill. The fill style is great if you need a little bit more emphasis, and you can even change the color to draw more attention to it still. You'll notice that a couple of these have labels, and these can be added or edited using the edit text icon here, and this will give you some text formatting options. One of the other things you can change is the endpoint. So we have some different endpoints here, and these can be controlled from the contextual toolbar. You'll see that this one actually has endpoints on both sides, and you have four different options which you can change at any point. Down here in the corner, you have the difference between an elbow connector and a straight line. So you can toggle off the elbow, and that will just give you kind of one point to another in a straight line. If you want to move an entire connector line, then you're going to need to go to move mode, which you can hit V, or you just click this from the contextual toolbar, and that'll allow you to move the whole thing as opposed to just moving a certain point, or in some cases, if you want to have a curve, then you need to make sure that your elbow is turned off, and then you can just drag, and that's the way that you can create curved connector lines, which can be helpful. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about how you create connectors, and there's a few different ways to do it, but the main way is to hit C, or to hit the icon from the toolbar, and then you'll basically be able to draw connectors, and you can do this in custom paths, however you would like. And one of the other main ways is using quick add buttons. So this quick add lets me just click here, and it creates a new shape for me that's connected to the one before. And if you click the original shape that you created from, it will give you this option to create a few more. And this is a great way to do a sitemap or architecture diagram. One of the other options that's available from the quick add buttons is you can actually click and drag them. And this will let you kind of drag out the connector to an existing shape. One of the things that you might want to do, which is an advanced feature, is let's say you have a particular style that you're working with. We're going to select this purple color, and let's say we change our endpoint to here, a circle on the end. Now, if you want to use this in the future, you'll go to the menu and you'll save this as a default style. And now, if I'm going to create a new connector line, I'll get that style each time. This can be applied as well to shapes. So let's take a rectangle, which I've applied a custom style to, and I'll show you how that works. Let's create, for instance, a rounded rectangle. Each of these shapes can hold their own save style. So for this one, let's go with purple, and we will keep it solid. So we can go here, save as default style, and now whenever I want to create this, that rounded rectangle is going to be default purple. Moving back to our outline, we can see that we just covered the first one, first advanced feature, which is save style. Now we can talk about lock layer. This can come in handy when you have more intricate layered flowcharts. So let's say you take a large rectangle and you're using this as a background for containing other shapes. So you can lock these. This is using this menu as well. And so you can go ahead and lock this shape, and let's lock this one too with a keyboard shortcut, Command Shift L or Control Shift L on a PC. And now it won't move when you drag or click over it. You can unlock it from the context bar, or you can click the keyboard shortcut, but this will allow you to then create a diagram on top of these swim lanes or these larger sections, and that can be really helpful. Lastly, with the advanced features, just a quick word about shortcuts. Here are a few that will help you out when you are creating flowcharts. The first is toggling on and off the quick adds. So the quick add buttons are right here, and there's certain cases where you might be working on a diagram that doesn't really require shapes that are connected to each other. And so you can just click it in the context bar, or an easy shortcut, just Q to hide or show the quick add buttons. Something else that happens from time to time is a shape will snap to the side or to the middle of another shape, and it might pop off the grid. Now, if you want us to go back on the grid, and it can be frustrating because it keeps auto snapping to this other shape, you can hit Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, and it will ignore auto snapping and just adhere to the grid. And so that's what it's doing here. So pretty easy fix there, and that can be helpful. The inverse of this is I'm going to hit X for icon, and I'm going to search for ribbon. Let's say you want to place this ribbon icon in this particular spot right in the top corner. Now, right now it's only giving you the grid options and it's kind of snapping generally. But if you hit the tilde key, there we go. It is ignoring the grid altogether. And so this is really great for finely or precisely placing an object, particularly a small object. I found that this is also very useful in wireframe mode, where I'll use it a lot. So that's it for shortcuts. The next thing we're going to do is very quickly run through a few examples just to give you an idea of the types of things that you can create in flowcharts here. This first one, fairly traditional flowchart. We're just using a lot of rectangles, connector lines, and colors to kind of mark different types of actions or events that are going on. Right here, this is a example where you might disable the quick adds and place objects right next to each other, as opposed to all being connected by lines. So you can kind of form these custom shapes that are great for back-end architecture diagrams. This is a more free-form diagram, and you see that we're just using a lot of rectangles. Here's a couple keys or legends with text and some iconography, and yeah, it just kind of breaks the mold a little bit and shows you how you can do that. And finally, here's an ERD diagram using tables. These tables are make it really simple just to kind of spin up new columns and rows and connect those via connector lines. And that's it.